I received a most kindly welcome from a fair, grey-eyed German gentleman. Only, unfortunately, I see my efforts to appear before him clean and tidy have been quite unavailing, for he views my appearance with unmixed horror and suggests an instant hot bath. I decline. Men can be trying. How in the world is any one going to take a bath in a house with no doors and only very sketchy wooden window shutters? The German officer is building the house quickly, as Ollendorf would say, but he has not yet got to such luxuries as doors, and so uses army blankets strung across the doorway, and he has got up temporary wooden shutters to keep the worst of the rain out, and across his own room's window he has a frame covered with grease paper. Thank goodness he has made a table and a bench and a washstand out of planks for his spare room, which he kindly places at my disposal, and the fatherland has evidently stood him in an iron bedstead and mattress for it. But the fatherland is not spoiling or cosseting this man to an extent that will enervate him in the least. The mist clears off in the evening about 5, and the surrounding scenery is at last visible. Fronting the house there is a cleared quadrangle, facing which on the other 3 sides are the lines of very dilapidated huts. Behind these the ground rises steeply, the great southeast face of Mungo Ma Lobe. It looks awfully steep when you know how you have got to go up it. This station at Boya is 3,000 feet above sea level, which explains the hills we have had to come up. The mountain wall, when viewed from Boya, is very grand, although it lacks snow cap or glacier, and the highest summits of Mungo are not visible because we are too close under them, but its enormous bulk and its isolation make it highly impressive. The forest runs up it in great band above Boya, then sends up great tongues into the grass belt above. But what may be above this grass belt I know not yet, for our view ends at the top of the wall of the great southeast crater. My men say there are devils and gold up beyond, but the German authorities do not support this view. Those Germans are so skeptical. This station is evidently on a ledge, for behind it the ground falls steeply, and you can get an uninterrupted panoramic view of the Cameroon estuary and the great stretches of low swamplands with the Mungo and the Bimbini Bia rivers and their many creeks and channels, and far away east the strange abrupt form of the Rumby Mountains. Herr Liebert says you can see Cameroon government buildings from here, if only the day is clear, though they are some 40 miles away. This view of them is, save a missionary from the Basel mission, the only white society available at Boya. I hear more details about the death of poor Frere von Gruvenruth, whose fine monument of a seated lion I saw in the government house grounds in Cmrrns the other day. Bushfighting in these West African forests is dreadfully dangerous work, hemmed in by bush and a narrow path along which you must pass slowly in single file. You are a target for all and any natives invisibly hidden in the undergrowth, and the war hedge of the Boya must have made an additional danger and difficulty here for the attacking party. The lieutenant and his small band of black soldiers had, after a stiff fight, succeeded in forcing the entrance to this, when their ammunition gave out, and they had to fall back. The Boyans, regarding this as their victory, rallied, and a chance shot killed the lieutenant instantly. A further expedition was promptly sent up from Victoria, and it wiped the air out of the Boyan mind, and several Boyans with it. But it was a very necessary expedition. These natives were a constant source of danger to the more peaceful trading tribes, whom they would not permit to traverse their territory. The Boyans have been dealt with mercifully by the Germans, for their big villages, like Sapa, are still standing, and a continual stream of natives come into the barrack yard, selling produce or carrying it down to Victoria markets, in a perfectly content and cheerful way. I met this morning a big burly chief with his insignia of office, a great stick. He, I am told, is the chief or Sapa whom Herr von Luke has called to talk some palaver He, I am told, is the chief or Sapa whom Herr von Luke has called to talk some palaver with down in Victoria. Tongue-tied today.